Because of why I search the deep through endless nights, no time to sleep. The call inside I can't deny. I'll find the light because of why.
Hey everyone, and welcome. So today we're going to talk about a tiny island in the Pacific that, believe it or not, plays this absolutely massive role in global events. We're talking about Guam, and we're going to break down exactly why it matters, probably a lot more than you think. All right, let's dive right in. Okay, so let's start with the most basic question. If you look at a map, Guam is just this little dot, right? But look at its location. It's smack dab in the middle of some of the world's biggest hotspots. You've got China, Taiwan, and North Korea all basically in its backyard. So that really brings us to the central question. Why is this tiny island so critical? Well, for the U.S. military, Guam is nothing less than its Pacific fortress. You'll often hear it called the tip of the spear, and that's a perfect description. It's the forwardmost point of American power in the entire Indo-Pacific, the first line, ready to respond to a crisis at a moment's notice. And the reason is really simple. Geography. I mean, Guam is closer to Beijing than it is to Hawaii. That makes it completely indispensable for naval and air operations. You can think of it as the military's forward operating gas station, repair shop, and command center all rolled into one. It just allows American forces to operate across the huge distances of the Pacific. And listen, this isn't just some abstract idea. It's a core piece of U.S. defense strategy. When the top military commander for the whole region, Admiral John C. Aquilino, says its importance is difficult to overstate, well, you know it's a really big deal. For the Pentagon, Guam is the absolute key to maintaining influence in Asia. Now, talk is one thing, but money is another. And the U.S. isn't just saying Guam is important, it is investing billions of dollars to prove it. Get a load of this number, $7.3 billion. That's how much the Department of Defense plans to spend on military construction there in just a 5-year window. This is not just routine maintenance. We're talking about a massive, massive expansion. And of course, with that money comes a whole lot of people. By 2027, the number of DoD personnel on Guam is projected to hit almost 30,000. That is more than double what it was in 2023. And it includes 5,000 Marines who are being relocated from Okinawa. For an island of this size, that is a huge influx. You know, you don't even have to be an economist to see what's happening here. This chart, it just says it all. It shows federal spending for Guam, and after years of being pretty stable, just look at it. It shoots up like a rocket after 2020. It's a really stark picture of that billion-dollar buildup we're talking about. But here's the thing. Being the tip of the spear has a really serious downside. It means you're also the first target. So what's the price you pay for being this close to the action? This right here is the most direct threat. China has actually developed a ballistic missile, the DF-26, that has a pretty chilling nickname, the Guam Killer. Its entire purpose is to be able to hit the very bases that make Guam so strategic. It puts the island and everyone on it squarely in the crosshairs. And the danger isn't just from missiles. There's a quieter, more invisible battle already going on. A Chinese state-sponsored cyber group, which has been dubbed Typhoon, has been caught poking around and even getting into Guam's critical infrastructure. We're talking power grids, water systems, communications. The goal? To cause chaos during a conflict, crippling both military operations and daily civilian life. This military boom is also creating what one expert on the ground called a catch-22. All these new people and construction projects are putting this immense strain on the island's civilian infrastructure. The power grid is already facing a critical shortfall, which means frequent outages. There's a projected housing shortage of thousands of homes, and pretty much every essential service, from water to roads, is feeling the pressure. And this brings us to a really, really crucial part of the story, one that often gets overlooked. And that's the perspective of the people who actually call Guam home, especially the Indigenous Chamorro people. For them, is Guam a fortress, or is it a homeland? This quote from Chamorro historian Dr. Michael Bavacqua, wow, it just gets right to the heart of it. People on Guam are U.S. citizens, but they can't vote for president, and they have no voting representation in Congress. So these huge, life-altering decisions like military buildups are being made by people thousands of miles away who, let's be honest, may not even know Guam exists. On top of that, a quarter of the entire island is owned by the U.S. military, and a lot of this is ancestral land, seized after World War II, which displaced families and cut them off from places with deep, deep cultural meaning. This history really fuels a lot of the ongoing disputes over land and environmental issues, like plans to openly detonate munitions on the island. So you can really see the two sides of the coin here. On one hand, yeah, the military presence brings in federal money. It brings jobs. It brings a sense of security. But on the other hand, it brings these incredible burdens: strained infrastructure, a housing crisis, environmental worries, and the really painful loss of ancestral land. It is an incredibly complex trade-off. So where does all this leave Guam? The island is basically trying to navigate this incredibly delicate balance, reconciling America's pressing strategic needs with the very real, very complex reality of life for the people who live there. A really interesting concept in Guam's defense right now is this idea of deterrence by resiliency. It's a fascinating strategy. The goal isn't just to be able to shoot down missiles. The goal is to convince an enemy that an attack wouldn't even matter, that the U.S. could take a hit and just keep on going without missing a beat. And here is the key takeaway from all of this. True resilience isn't just about military hardware. You can't be resilient if the power goes out, or if there's no clean water, or if the local community itself is struggling. Military readiness and civilian well-being are completely, fundamentally linked. You need a strong foundation to have a strong fortress, and that foundation is the island and its people. And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? The one that's really going to define Guam's future. Can it actually be both things at once? Can it serve as America's hardened Pacific fortress, while also being a healthy, thriving, and self-determined home for its people? That is the challenge. So, what's your take on this? It's a tough balance. We'd really love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. And if you found this breakdown helpful, please do us a huge favor and hit that like button, share it with someone you know, and of course, subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.